Evening, tubas. Evening. I guess tonight we're going to talk about the 48-hour mystery, which was the Julie Jensen trial. And for one, I can raise my hand. It pissed me off. And let me tell you why. Mark Jensen's mom and dad, complete idiots. Idiots. Oh, my baby. Oh, look, she was so depressed. She set him up. She didn't really want to kill herself, but it went too far, and she died, and my baby, oh, he's so innocent. Get real.
Okay, my favorite part was Mark's dad. What a dork. What a dork. He said, no, Julie was almost a nurse. She was really, really smart and knew just enough to get sick. But she made a mistake and was dumb and took too much. Okay, can you have it both ways? Can you have your cake and eat it too? Either she was too smart to just get sick enough to frame him for attempted murder, but she overdid it. What a dork. They're both idiots.
They're in denial. It was so insulting to Julie's family. It was such a slap in the face and insulting that my baby is innocent. She did this all. She had it planned. Oh yeah, but what about those little notes that she took a picture of? The Post-it notes.
Oh, we could prove it. We could prove that Mark is innocent. He had 10 years. Don't you think 10 years is enough? I think 10 years is more than enough. You know, maybe you should have shared your proof with Craig Albee, who didn't say one word on the special. What a jerk.
And you know what? Shame on you, Jensen family. Shame. Shame, shame on you.
And they still, to think that Kelly LaFucke Jensen is raising Julie's two boys and the Griffin brothers have no say-so about that whatsoever makes me sick.
And when they interviewed the Jensen brothers, or Julie Jensen's brothers, the Griffins, yes, I'm sorry, the tears in their eyes when they heard a little snippet about what Mark's family said and about how they never see their nephews broke my heart. It broke my heart. They couldn't even speak. They were verklempt. And it pissed me off because they don't have any relationship whatsoever. I don't like
even
that.
Relationships.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. But to see them like hugging their dad and wanting nothing to do with their uncles and thinking Kelly LaFucke is laying in the bed that Julie died in her home with her kids. If they had a Sleaze Bag of the Year award, I would vote for Kelly. I'd vote for Kelly. I have never seen or heard of anybody so scummy than her in my whole life.
And
really.
And the thing is, too, is when they flashed during the whole thing and they had little excerpts of stuff, she was laughing. There's no levity. There's no laughing in baseball. She was laughing. She was smiling. And what makes me
Isn't it funny that Mark Jensen's family had nothing to say about him having an affair, cheating on Julie when she was sick, or asking if he could bring his mistress to Julie's funeral?
Yeah, do you think it would be appropriate if I brought Kelly to Julie's funeral service? Scum! They deserve each other. And what makes me sick is those little boys, they're not little anymore, are believing that Kelly is their mom. And Julie is spinning in her grave, and shame on you, Kelly. Shame on you, Mark Jensen. Shame on you, Mark Jensen's mom and dad. You're sleaze bags.
I would like to sit down one-on-one with you, Mr. and Mrs. Jensen. I really would like to sit down one-on-one with you. You can't possibly believe in your heart of hearts that your daughter-in-law took it upon herself to drink ethylene glycol and be so sick in front of her kids that she couldn't even kiss them goodbye on her last day. You know in your heart your son is a murderer, and he will burn forever in eternity in hell. Your son that you gave birth to and procreated killed his wife to be with the ugliest woman, uglier than Camilla Parker Bowles. Your son, and you know it, is a murderer, and you will never ever see him for eternity because he is guilty. He is a murderer, and you know it. Shame on you for backing him up. I don't know how you both could sleep at night. You make me sick.
How do you look at yourself in the mirror knowing and making up all these excuses for your son? You know he did it. And you know what? When he dies, and I hope it's a horrible death, I'm sorry, Lord, forgive me, but his bunkmate is going to be Hitler.
And Mr. and Mrs. Jensen, I'm sorry to say, you have one foot in, and you will soon know the ultimate truth, that your son, Mark Jensen, your baby, is a cold-blooded, calculated, first-degree felonious murderer who was a coward enough to didn't even want to take his wife to the hospital because his babies were begging him to. Your grandchildren were begging your deadbeat son to take his sick wife to the hospital. And when that didn't happen, he decided to murder her instead and suffocate her if ethylene glycol poisoning wasn't bad enough. How does that make you feel, giving birth to a monster? You make me sick for supporting him. Sick.
You should be so disgusted with yourselves, and America agrees. Court TV, the poll, by far said that he's so guilty. America knows, and you know in your hearts of heart, that he is a murderer and guilty, and shame on you for sticking up for him. You're going to burn in hell with them.
America's voted. Jury of his peers said, pack it up the river, get yourself a jail, bitch. And I'd be checking my juice, doing a little smelly smell to make sure it wasn't ethylene glycol. What a waste, what a shame. And what a shame for you for backing up your son. You know he's wrong. Makes you just as guilty. That's my opinion.
My opinion is you're hicks, you're ignorant, and you're in complete denial, and I would be sick at myself to look myself in the mirror every morning. Shame on you.
Peace out, Mr. and Mrs. Jensen. Watch the 48-Hour Mystery again. It's 10 years in the making. Watch yourself. You'd be disappointed in yourself as well. We're out.
Pigs.
Pig.